Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to Rob and Elliott tonight. Good to have your company with us once again. Coming up on the show, we'll be chatting to Coronation Street star Tina O'Brien. She'll be talking us through some of her favourite moments of playing Sarah Louise on the show.
Just absolute classic Corrie for me. It's got to be the Richard Hillman into the canal scenes. I just loved being part of that.
We'll be chatting to a playwright and author and now poet as well, Rosemary Jenkinson. She'll be telling us all about the Sandy Row Riots.
You know, sometimes you pick a title and you don't realise what can come out of it.
Dietitian Gillian Killiner will be telling us how to look after our gut health at this time of year.
Christmas is difficult to navigate. You've got family, you've got parties, you've got alcohol potentially in there, big Christmas dinners. You don't want to feel miserable and, you know, everything's a guilt trip. You want to be able to wake up in the day and go, okay, I had a good night last night, let's get back to it. Or you say, okay, how am I going to navigate the next party? Maybe I won't be so strict and enjoy that, or I do need to rein it in. I'm going to think about, you know, what I'm going to do for the next week ahead.
Plus, we'll remember the comedy genius Janey Godley, who sadly passed away last week.
Once at the Soho Theatre in London, I got on stage and went to do Good Godley and actually says to the audience, I've just did this at the festival, do you really want to hear it? And the member of the audience went, yeah, we've paid £10 to hear it. I went, oh, okay. Because I was about to do something else. They went, no, we would like what we paid for.
Yeah.
Call it an odd concept. I'm like, sorry. My daughter's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I got bored.
And we'll have some great music coming up on the show tonight, including Cara, Dillon. We'll also feature some music from Brigid O'Neill. And one of my favourite bands around at the moment will play you something from Tramp. But to start off the show this week, we're talking music, and there's so much going on in Belfast. We've got the Northern Ireland Music Prize coming up on Wednesday, and of course we're right in the middle of the Sound of Belfast Music Festival. And who better to start off the show? We've got Charlotte Dryden from the Oh Yes Centre. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We're in the throes of it now, so...
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
busy
there's
time.
so much on, and the Sound of Belfast, I mean, it just seems to get bigger every year.
Yeah, it's our 10th anniversary.
Wow.
And it's, you know, it's 10 days, 7th to 17th of November. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but there's something for everybody, you know. It's a very collaborative, partnership-driven festival, so it's all about turning the spotlight up on the local music scene. So there's some special events in there. There's discussions and panels, you know, because it's very music and industry and musician-led.
Yeah.
But also about, you know, developing and kind of building audiences for local musicians, because we have a wealth of talent.
So looking ahead to the next week, what have we got to look forward to? What's the kind of big events or the big highlights in your opinion? Then?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, there is something for everyone. We have, I mean, starting from like, you know, tots, babies, you know, we have an acoustic picnic, which is all about young people, very young people enjoying music from a very young age, and that happens at the OES Centre, and that's a monthly event. You know, this festival is about turning the spotlight up and packaging up everything that happens all year round. So it's important for audience to know that all this is happening all year round, but this festival is like, get out and enjoy it and then see how you feel. But the week of highlights, we've partnered with Output this year. Output is the big sort of showcase day and evening of music and a lot of industry come into town, but the showcases are all free. So if you're interested in what's out there in terms of local music, Tuesday night output, nearly all the venues in the city are going to be absolutely buzzing with music. And then of course the Northern Ireland Music Prize is next Wednesday, and we have, it's just a brilliant snapshot of a really blossoming and blooming scene at the minute, right through to things like we've got Brigid O'Neill at Crescent Arts Centre. There's a Talent Development Conference on Monday actually, which is the first time it's ever come to Northern Ireland. So there's a lot of people in town especially for music and to see musicians. But you know, if you are curious about what's happening, I would urge people to just go to our soundofbelfast.com website, and there's literally something for everyone there.
And have you got the music walking tours around Belfast again this year?
We do indeed.
Dolores Fisher does this fabulous tour.
She's brilliant. So Dolores is doing the walking tour this year. The bus tour is happening as well. That's the thing. It's, you know, it's music. It's workshops. There's even been a podcast in there in the past. It's talks, but then there's gigs at the heart of it, and it's music lovers just coming out and enjoying it. And Dolores is brilliant with that, you know. Big fan of Dolores creative tours, you know. So she'll be out and about, showing people around the city.
You mentioned the Northern Ireland Music Prize. That's a Wednesday night in the Ulster Hall. I mean, that is always an amazing night out, isn't it?
It is. It's brilliant, and the Ulster Hall is a beautiful venue for it, and it's always a completely sold out night. And what we're trying to do is, again, you know, we have a really great music scene. It's world class. Other parts of, you know, like Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, England and the South all have their own awards ceremonies now. Yeah. So, you know, it's up there with all of those. And it sort of initially started out as Album of the Year. And over the last 5 or 6 years, we noticed how the scene was really sort of quite strong. So we thought we'd take a risk and add some new categories. Yeah. And we've surprised ourselves at how popular they are. And it kind of helps to tease out all the new stuff that's coming through. So there's awards for live act and for video. Yeah. You know, videos and visual content so strong these days, and bands are making absolutely amazing videos.
They really are,
on very tiny budgets. You know, it's so possible now. And then we have a newcomer award and our single award, but the biggie is the album, and there's an amazing list of albums on there this year. And then what we do is, you know, obviously we can't have every act play, it's only a 3-hour show, but we have a good mix that represents hopefully most of the genres that are on there. So this year, you know, Cara Dillon's back and she's going to be performing. Tramp, who won an award last year, are back to play this year. I know.
Which surprised you. It surprised you. I
won't lie. Like, I'm very impressed as well, I have to say, because they're one of my favourite bands as well. I can't wait to see them. There's a band called Hurtan who are playing as well. They sold out the Empire last week with their Halloween show. They're just this amazing trad electronica, I think they call it. Absolutely brilliant anyway. Amazing costumes, visually stunning, and the music's great. So they're going to, I think, blow everybody away, you know. So JC Stewart is back in town, and he's been doing great things over in England. So a really, really strong lineup. And of course then the Legend Award, which is for Eric Bell. And it's been a long time coming, but we're so pleased that he's accepting it this year. And we wouldn't have had Thin Lizzy without him.
Exactly. And is he going to play live on the night as well?
He is indeed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, you know, delighted to say that Tim Wheeler will be joining him as well for a couple of songs. Tim Wheeler from Ash. Yeah. And it's never been a secret that they were big fans of Thin Lizzy.
We're going to take a look back into the archives now to a clip from Eric Bell when he was on this show a few years ago, telling us the story behind Whiskey in the Jar. Tell me about Whiskey in the Jar, because that was the song that really did it for you guys. Yes. And you were responsible for it, but I believe it was a song that you didn't really care about in the beginning, did you?
No, it was a joke. It was, at that point we had left Ireland and we're living in London. And when we weren't gigging, or every week we would rehearse in this pub somewhere in London, near King's Cross Station, I think. And this particular day, we're trying to get original songs together as usual, and there was nothing happening. It was just, we couldn't get anything together. One of those days. Yeah. So Phil put down the bass and picked up the second guitar we had and started singing all these really weird songs, like through the microphone, like 7 Drunken Nights and God knows, mostly Irish stuff. Yeah. And about 20 minutes later, he got on to Whiskey in the Jar. So at that point in time, I was reading the paper, Brown was reading the paper. For some reason we started playing, when he started playing Whiskey in the Jar, I fiddling about in the guitar and Brown on the drums. And at that point our manager walked in and we stopped playing, and he had a new amplifier for me to try. So we put down the instruments and walked over to look at the amp. And as we're looking at it, he's going, "What was that song you were just playing?" And we were, "What?" Great amplifier, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "What was that song you were playing?" And Phil said, "We're only messing about, man, you know. It was Whiskey in the Jar," or something. And Ted, one of our managers, he says, "You're recording a single for Decca in 6 weeks. Have you got an A side?" And we said, "Yeah, Black Boys in the Corner, it's an original."
Yeah.
"What's on the B side?" "We're not sure yet." "Why don't you try Whiskey in the Jar?" You know, we were going to throw him out the window, you know, because we said we left Ireland to get away from this music, and now he wanted us to record it, you know. So anyways, 6 weeks later we went in, recorded Black Boys in the Corner, and then everybody looked at each other, and our manager kept on and on. "Why don't you try Whiskey in the Jar?" More or less to shut him up. We went out, me and Phil on acoustic guitars and Brown on the drums, and we recorded it, and you know, we didn't think anything about it and walked in to listen to the playback, and it sounded pretty beefy, you know, pretty strong. And then they wanted me to put a guitar on it, and I hadn't a clue what to do. I had no idea what way to approach this song, you know, because it wasn't rock, it wasn't blues, it wasn't jazz, it wasn't folk really. And it took me about 6 weeks to come up with all the guitar parts. They were going to get another musician in to play on it. At one point, it was taking so long.
Right, yeah.
It was the hardest piece of music I've ever worked on.
So there we go, Eric Bell, who of course is getting the big award at the Northern Ireland Music Prize on Wednesday night in the Ulster Hall. Now, not only is it going to be a big night for Eric Bell, but it's going to be a big night because we're remembering our good friend Jerry Anderson as well, aren't we?
Absolutely, yes. Delighted to say that we'll be making a posthumous presentation of the Outstanding Contribution in Music Award. Been working with David Anderson and the family for the last few months now, and it's, you know, the 10th anniversary year of Jerry's passing, and we got chatting, and it just happened to. It just worked out really well that we were able to do this. We had been talking about doing something like this because Jerry, you know, was well known as a broadcaster, but he was also an exceptional musician.
Yeah.
And he was also incredibly supportive of musicians. He never let a show go by where he wouldn't maybe big up a local artist or, you know, invite a local musician into the studio. So, and he, you know, he was really so well loved and such a great musician, and obviously, you know, travelled the world, you know, with music, and obviously
Ronnie Hawkins in the Hawks over in Canada,
Hawks, that's
who
right,
was Bob Dylan's backing band.
That's
and,
it,
you know,
yeah. And then, you know, closer to home, obviously, with Toe Jam and the guys there. So yeah, they were a much loved musician and supporter of music. So it's just really lovely to be able to do this for Jerry and the family, you know. I
can reveal as well that a lot of those artists who Jerry supported over the years are going to be in the audience that night, so you never know who's going to show up on the night as well. I know there's a few recognisable faces that's going to be sitting beside us in the audience.
Very good.
As well.
Brilliant.
So staying with the Northern Ireland Music Prize, the video of the year is the big one as well. We're going to take a look at some of the nominees now for this year's video of the year.
Flex your muscles, bare your teeth, whatever you need to hide beneath. She's falling.
Just what could come is okay, like Kalani's. Ride you like Kalani, it's okay, here at the parties. Right here at the parties. Must be nice to know you'd be alright if you quit. When you're much better off than you're willing to admit. We know who you really are, poverty tourists. We know who you really are, poverty tourists. We know who you really are, poverty tourists. We know who you really are, poverty tourists.
So there we go, that's the nominations for the best music video of the year at the Northern Ireland Music Prize. Do you have a favourite? Can you reveal?
Oh God,
They're all good, aren't they?
I know,
They're all exceptional.
genuinely,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, in terms of the album, I would not like to be one of the judges. And we've got people in from all over the music industry making the decisions on this one. There's 13 judges. It'll be like, you know, we'll see the white smoke coming out of the room when the decision's been made, but it's done on the night, so it's very exciting. You know, we will not know until about half an hour beforehand who's won the best album. So yes, they better decide within time frame, obviously. But and it's great because it's new ears on a lot of this music as well from across the sector, the music industry, you know. So
and it's great to see that Cara Dillon's Coming Home album has been nominated for best album, because I mean, for people who haven't heard this is so different. It's a spoken word album. It's just brilliant.
It is. It's beautiful. It really is. It's deservedly in there. So we're really pleased to see it.
Brilliant. We're going to play one of the tracks from the album in just a second. In the meantime, if people want to get involved in this year's Sound of Belfast, give us the website details.
Yeah, it's soundofbelfast.com, and if you follow the OES Centre or Sound of Belfast on our social media, we're relentlessly on Instagram at the moment, so you will not miss out on whatever's happening.
Brilliant. There's so much going on, and of course a big night, Wednesday night in the Ulster Hall. We look forward to as well. Charlotte, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. Right, as promised, let's play something from the brilliant Cara Dillon from her latest album, Coming Home. This is called Giving.
I would not go empty-handed, for it's been drummed into me. Give anything, but give. A hand-tied bunch from the garden, a stone smoothed by the love of a hand. Sea glass of blue and green, sharp edges gone now by the shape-shifting sands. Give anything, but give. Feathers found in the forest, a cross made of rushes, a stick, weathered and not broken. Give anything, but give. A penny from your pocket, hair for the locket, a book dog-eared and tired that might just hold a mystery unfolded. In my pocket I found from you the sweetest treasures wrapped in leaves.
Great track from Cara Dillon. That's called Giving. That's from Cara's latest album, which is called Coming Home. We'll be chatting to poet Rosemary Jenkinson about her brand new collection of poems. It's called the Sandy Row Riots, and Rosemary joins us right after these.
Heading to the North Coast? The Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
And welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight. Next up, we're talking to playwright, author, and now poet as well of this book, the Sandy Row Riots. Rosemary Jenkinson joins us in the studio. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Ready for my new sort of invention, we call it.
So you kind of really have reinvented yourself again this time with poetry.
I have to keep going, Robin. It is like, writing is writing, in my opinion. I mean, this was more challenging because it's really a compressed form as opposed to prose, but it was a lot of fun to do the genre.
It's all stories about Belfast, about Northern Ireland, and of course the title, the Sandy Row Riots.
You know, sometimes you pick a title and you don't realise what can come out of it. But I went down the next day after the riots and had a look at the burnt out supermarket, and then I wrote a poem about it because it was sort of moving, seeing the aftermath. So it was important to record that. I mean, this is sort of social history.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. So what else, as well as the riots? I mean, there's other stories. I mean, there's everything from taking a walk in the Craig of Glen to, it's all different stories here.
Quite a lot about Belfast and the surrounds. I mean, I do like nature poetry. Poetry works really well for nature, clearly, but and also just a few ones, like there's a poem about Noah Donohoe, things actually that are also in the news sometimes even inspire me. There's no real reason, I suppose. A lot about my parents, because that's always makes a great poem because everybody relates to it.
And a lot of stuff that happened here in Belfast, you kind of missed out on, because you went away for a long time, didn't you?
Yeah, I was away from 1986 for university. I went to Durham, and then I never came back until 2002.
Oh, so you missed all the peace process stuff and the Good Friday Agreement and all that.
All the exciting stuff and the good stuff, and so it was like a real culture shock for me to come back, because I didn't have the kind of slow slide into peace that there was. It was just left in troubles, came back in peace. Yeah. So that was a shock, and I was able to wander around free. Amazing, I could go wherever I wanted, and in Belfast.
There was no ring of steel around the city centre.
That's right, all of that when I went shopping, the police checking. So it was just like, what's going on? This is great.
And coming home to East Belfast as well, it must have been a completely different person. Place 20 years on from when you left
though
it.
I came back to the Lisburn Road first, so it was totally different. So I didn't come back to the East till about 2008. I finally came back, and that was totally different. And also because I was out in the suburbs when I was a kid, and now I'm in the inner city, so that's another huge. It's all these changes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, you've written books of short stories in the past. We've had you on talking about them.
Quite a few.
And again, I mean, there's a broad range of subjects that you write about. Some of them can be a little raunchy. People must have realised that and said to you something, Rosemary, some of your stuff is a little sexy.
Yeah, but they usually like it. And those who don't have to go there. So it's very much that. And there is there are a few erotic poems in this collection, naturally, because if I didn't, also, I wouldn't be living up to my reputation. It would be terrible if I didn't. So there is an element of that, obviously, because it's everyday life and what life is about. So yes, there are a few. Bukowski Blue, I think you cast an eye over that one.
Yeah, I was at a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
And that's all I can really say about it. You just have to read the poem for yourself to work out the rest. But so the book's out now. I mean, is there a plan for some more poetry, or is it going to be a feature-length novel next time? What's the next plan?
The next thing is going to be a novel, So hopefully I'll come back on and reveal all about that to you at a later date.
Will it be set in Belfast?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, most things are, because it's my everyday life. Though I was in Paris in the summer for a month.
You were, yes.
And I kind of like...
that was the place to be with the Olympics and the Paralympics and everything going on.
Yeah, I loved all that. I saw the powerlifting, the athletic, the swimming. I went to loads.
But you were kind of there on an official capacity as well, weren't you? You had a title there, didn't you? You were like the poet of...
it's artist in residence.
Yeah.
I love being that. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm the artist in residence in my own house. but it's far better if you go to a nice place like Paris and be artist in residence.
And were you inspired by what was going on there? And
yeah, well, also, Paris is a city of love.
Yeah.
So that's another completely... And they've more pubs. Yeah. More pubs in that place where I stayed than they would in Belfast. It was amazing.
Yes. And did you find love in Paris?
I did. I had to fight hard for it.
Really?
I got rejected by one guy, and then I'd given up. I thought, okay, Paris is not for me. I should just write. Do nothing like that. And then, no, on my birthday, I kid you not, there I met somebody in the bar, and we're still on, WhatsApping.
Oh.
So there you go.
Could we possibly hear wedding bells in the future?
I love the way
we might just scare him off now because he's watching this. But
more the bells of Notre Dame, I think, Robin. The Hunchback or something. But no, I think not. But we'll keep it as what it was. A wonderful holiday romance.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, if people want to get their hands on the Sandy Row Riots, how do they go about that?
Yeah, it'll be in Waterstones, it'll be in No Alibis, it'll be in Paper Book Scissors. So basically every outlet. It'll be there.
Brilliant. Will you read one for us now?
Okay, go on.
Fabulous.
Not the one about...
not the one about the Japanese restaurant. You'll have to buy the book to find out about that.
Can I do one set in the Japanese restaurant?
Yes, you can, yes. Which one are we going to do?
On the seabed.
Oh, okay. This sounds exciting. Okay.
It's a bed, but it's not. It's a seabed.
Okay.
Before we go to the cool white bed in our hotel room, you and I decide to go wild in the Japanese restaurant and share a platter of sashimi, slivers of pink raw meat that we slice and rip in half, fuchsia-coloured squid, slippery scallop, the fleshy red of tuna. Here, have some nipple, you joke of a surf clam, all resting under a Mount Fuji of wasabi and ginger, followed by a coral bed of crispy white tempura. A glorious picture for the eyes that pitches our delicate Irish stomachs into a gurgling Fukushima meltdown. Is that my stomach or yours, you ask with widened eyes, as we grip onto our yunomis full of bilious yellow tea and let the sashimi slither through our chopsticks and decide to stick to the sticky rice to save ourselves. We pay the bill quickly before our love-making plans hit ruination. And as we leave our table, the soft-shell crabs wave their arms at us and seem to point us in the direction of the nearest chippy. But all I can think of is the kisses that will come from your pink lips, fuchsia lips, blood-red lips.
Brilliant. There we go. A poem from Rosemary's new collection of poems, The Sandy Row Riots, which is out now. Rosemary Jenkinson, always good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much, Robin.
Time now to feature another fantastic lady on the show this evening, and this time somebody who sadly passed away last week at the age of 63. She started her life as a pub landlady in Glasgow, and she went on to become a comedy genius. We're talking about Janey Godley, and over the years I had the pleasure of meeting Janey quite a few times, and she first appeared on this show back in 2007. So here's a clip from the NVTV archives featuring the brilliant and much missed Janey Godley.
So Janey, welcome to Belfast. Have you been here before?
No, I haven't, thank you. I have never been to Ireland before, so it's lovely being here.
Now, they say there's kind of similarities between Glasgow and Belfast. Have you seen any as yet?
Yeah, I've only been here about 2 hours and I've only seen stuff out of a car, but the architecture that I do see is very similar, and the way the streets are sort of built up and the grid, the way it is, Definitely, definitely. It's beautiful. Some beautiful old houses and buildings.
All right, now, if anybody, no matter where you are in the world, they always seem to have some Irish blood somewhere in them. If you get any family connections here.
Yes, we do. Although I didn't know that we had. Most recently, I researched my family background. My own is a wee tiny bit Irish, but mostly Dutch, which is not surprising because the weavers came from Eastern and Western Europe into Scotland. But on my husband's side, his mother was called Mary Birney, and then we traced it back, and her father and their father was called Thomas Birney, who was a sergeant in the Royal Irish Constabulary. So my husband's family are police, which is really ironic and funny for me.
It is, since he comes from a big gangster family in Glasgow, doesn't he?
Somewhere there's a windmill turning his father in his grave. Yeah, and I was absolutely surprised because I didn't know. I mean, I knew his mother's maiden name was Birney, and I knew that was a kind of Irish name, obviously, but the name change had spelled differently. Then when I traced it back, and this guy came from County Roscommon, and then he moved to Glasgow in the 1890s. But every single documentation he's mentioned on, he was very proud of the fact. Sergeant in the Royal Irish Constabulary. I was like, your granddaddy's a sergeant, policeman. And he's like, oh, you're joking. It's like, no, he must have been proud of you lot. No, but then his mother was quite a lady. She married Scum, his father.
So Jenny, what was it that attracted you then to your husband and to the gangster lifestyle? Was it the glamorous side of it? Or?
No, I didn't know. I was only 17 and he was just my boyfriend. I didn't know. It wasn't until much later on that I thought, right, so not everybody gets a television rolled up inside a carpet. I just thought it was a special kind of gift wrap.
Now, Janey, your comedy show that you do is based about things that have happened in your life. And reading your book, Janey, I can't see a lot to laugh at, really.
There is. You know, people say that, they go, oh my God, it's so tragic. But, I mean, there is nothing more tragic than Steptoe and Son, for example. Yeah. But it was one of the best comedies ever.
Yeah.
Two men, an old man and his young son, two of them clinging to the bare bones of that relationship and the sadness and the total macabre way that they treated each other, yet it was hysterically funny. My life has got child abuse, murder, gangsters, deaths, heroin addiction, heroin deaths, and there's funny bits in it as well. So, but you can make really dark subjects funny, and it's very much a Celtic thing. The Irish and the Scots get it. The English take a wee while to warm to it, and they think, we're not sure what she's saying, but her hair's funny. Whereas the Celts just go, because we're of the same breed. In Scotland, if you say, my father's died, English people would say, that's a shame. Yeah. Celtic people would say, what size was his shoes?
So Janey, where did the comedy start from then? How did that come about?
I had a pub for 15 years and then we left in 1994. And I decided just to do stand-up because I had did it once and I was quite good at it. And then I said, I think I could do that. And then I did. Once at the Soho Theatre in London, I got on stage and went to do Good Godley and actually says to the audience, I've just did this at the festival, do you really want to hear it? And the member of the audience went, yeah, we've paid £10 to hear it. I went, oh, okay. Because I was about to do something else. They went, no, we would like what we paid for.
Yeah.
Call it an odd concept. I'm like, sorry. My daughter's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I got bored.
Well, Janey, you're here in Belfast tonight. The gig's sold out, I do believe.
Yeah.
So enjoy. And
hopefully I'll stick to the script.
Indeed, and enjoy your first...
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't care. No, he doesn't exist. God.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy the Belfast audiences and enjoy the rest of your time in Belfast, Janey.
Thank you. Thanks
so much. Thank
you.
So there we go, our little tribute to the comedy genius, Janey Godley, who sadly passed away last week at the age of just 63. Still to come on the show this evening, we're chatting to Coronation Street star Tina O'Brien, and we'll be chatting to Dietician Gillian Killiner right after these.
Here we are on the north coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Well, and welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight. Now we're going to get some health advice now, how we can stay fit and healthy during the winter months. I'm pleased to say that dietitian Gillian Killiner joins us in the studio. How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Good to see you. So it's getting towards that kind of time of year again where party season is upon us. So should we just forget about diet? Should we forget about it and just enjoy ourselves? Or can we actually get healthy in them?
Good question, and I think there's various approaches to it. So there are a lot of people that are always striving to the next big goal, and they're looking to either lose weight for their little black dress or, you know, their Christmas party, and they're desperately wanting a quick fix. There's other people that have spent all year working really hard, enjoying, you know, a probably relatively strict routine, and they might want to let loose a bit over Christmas. So it depends on what approach you're coming at it from. And then Christmas is difficult to navigate. You've got family, you've got parties, you've got alcohol potentially in there, big Christmas dinners. You don't want to feel miserable and, you know, everything's a guilt trip. You want to be able to wake up in the day and go, okay, I had a good night last night, let's get back to it. Or you say, okay, how am I going to navigate the next party? Maybe I won't be so strict and enjoy that, or I do need to rein it in. I'm going to think about, you know, what I'm going to do for the next week ahead.
Well, surely if we have been hard at it and have been losing weight and been healthy throughout the year, surely it's time to just let our hair down and enjoy ourselves for a little bit.
Definitely, I'm not against that at all. I think there is a very big need to break the cycle of some things that we do. People are very strict on themselves, and sometimes that's also too much, and that puts stress on the body. So having a change is as good as a rest, as they often say. So having a bit of a change up of diet, having some enjoyable time with family, friends, and going out is absolutely essential. But ultimately, I think the long-term benefits that you need to think about is, what choices am I making? Are they going to derail me? And am I going to get back at it? And sometimes people just find that once they make one error, or they think it's an error, they think it's all over, and that's not the case.
And then you hit January and you really struggle in January. And I'm one of those people who most Januaries will join a gym. And I don't know how many gyms I've joined in January over the years. I've never been to any of them.
Yeah.
So I've just been throwing money at these gyms and I've never been to them. But a lot of people, I would imagine, are in the same boat.
Absolutely. Loads of people make those year resolutions and they can't stick to them. A couple of weeks into January, it's the worst time of the year. The dark nights, it's freezing cold, you've got no money, you're, you know, having maybe had a big blowout at Christmas. It's the one time of year that is not a good time to start making all these resolutions. So for me, I actually tend to suggest September, October is a good time to, you know, maybe if you've got a family and they're all back at school, it's almost like a new year with the school term. Get yourself ready then if you want to start thinking about making changes.
Now, something else that you're promoting at the minute is your gut health and looking after that, especially in these winter months. So what kind of steps should we be taking then?
So yes, that is my area of expertise. I've spent the last 12, 15 years working in the gut health arena, and it's so critical to every part of the body. If you've got long-term chronic ill health, if your gut isn't working, you really can't work effectively to fix those other problems. So nourishing the gut, we're coming into winter, it's a lovely time of year to have more soups where you can pile in vegetables. Vegetables are really useful for feeding good gut bacteria. And if you aren't a fan of eating vegetables, actually blitzing them into a soup is a very nice way. Lovely teas, but make them with maybe ginger, lemon, put some cinnamon in. They're great for digestion. A lot of people struggle with constipation, bloating, wind around this time because they're eating heavy meals. Again, maybe thinking, well, 1 or 2 days they can have lighter meals, not such heavy carby-based high-fat foods. That can really help gut health as well.
And what about the little yogurty drinks as well that we see in the supermarkets? They're always saying, take these, this will sort your gut health out.
Yes, so they are considered tummy loving care. And unfortunately, if you have a gut dysbiosis, is what I treat with patients, you actually have an issue, and I explain it a bit like I'm a gardener. So in your gut, you have all these bacteria, viruses, and they're all communes, they work together. And when you have a lot of lovely green grass, that's fantastic, but sometimes you get the weeds coming in, and they're the bad bacteria, and the weeds overgrow the lovely grass. So I try and explain that, you know, no matter what you feed the gut, if you've got all of these weeds there, you're feeding the weeds and the green grass. We need to kill off the weeds and grow the green grass, and that's how you deal with gut dysbiosis in simplistic terms.
Yeah.
Those drinks may be fine if you don't have any gut issues and you want to keep that green grass growing, but if you do have the weeds there, you're just going to feed the weeds as well, because they're fermenting sugars that feed the weeds. And so people get stuck on these drinks. They think that they are to do them some good, and all they're doing is putting money into something that continues not improving their gut health.
Yeah, okay. You're also launching an online program, aren't you?
I am. The thing there is, I've realised that lots of people want to be treated for their gut symptoms, but not always that they can come and see me in person. I do online ones, but sometimes people want to sit in their home doing their gut health sessions without having to be in front of a camera. That's where I developed the video process where they can watch videos. It's all put together really detailed so that they've got the expert in their pocket.
Brilliant, okay. So people want to get in touch with you or find out more about that, how do they do that?
So they can certainly go online, they can Google my name. My business address is One-to-One Dietitian, so they can look at that as well. And certainly I'm more than happy to guide them and give them further info.
Brilliant, well, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure, thank you, Rob.
Right, still to come on the show this evening, we'll be chatting to Coronation Street's Tina O'Brien. She'll be telling us about some of her favourite moments of playing Sarah on the cobbles over the many years she's been in the show. But before all that, let's take a look and see what's happening throughout Belfast and beyond over the next week or so. Here's this week's What's On guide. And we're starting with the Brigid Arts Centre in Ballymena, and the Bjorn Identity bring their 50th anniversary of Waterloo show, their tribute to ABBA, to the Brigid Arts Centre, and this takes place on the 9th of November. Staying with the 9th of November, we're off to the Marketplace Theatre in Armagh, and Harvest is a tribute to Neil Young. They're an 8-piece band who've been thrilling audiences of Neil Young fans all over Ireland for 12 years now. So expect to hear all of your favourites, songs like Heart of Gold, Harvest Moon, The Needle and the Damage Done, and of course fantastic versions of Rockin' in the Free World, Cortez the Killer, and Cinnamon Girl, and many more. So if you're a massive fan of Neil Young, get yourself along to that gig. Now from Neil Young to Bruce Springsteen, and Glory Days is a Bruce Springsteen tribute show that's taking place at the Le Mans Hotel and Country Club, also on the 9th of November. And Glory Days are the UK's #1 Bruce Springsteen tribute band, endorsed by the Springsteen fan club Badlands. Moving on to the 12th of November, and presented as part of this year's Sound of Belfast Festival, you can celebrate Belfast's counterculture through the life and legacy of a punk pioneer, when Terry Hooley and music journalist Stuart Bailey take to the Templemore Baths for a special evening of stories and a chance to relive their show accompanying the publication of Terry Hooley's 75 Revolutions. So after sold-out shows earlier this year, don't miss Terry Hooley and Stuart Bailey in conversation at the Templemore Baths on the 12th of November. Now we're moving on to Newton Ards now, to the Ards Arts Centre, and on the 13th of November you're invited to come and explore how the Ulster Scots song has changed over time, from folk song evolving into classical art song to folk song influences in contemporary song. And this lunchtime concert will be performed by mezzo-soprano Carolyn Dobbin. Let's talk theatre now, and we're off to the Lyric Theatre for Oh Whistle, 2 ghost stories by M.R. James. And this runs between the 13th and the 17th of November. And M.R. James is acknowledged as the master of the English ghost story. And he first performed his supernatural tales to friends at Christmas in King's College, Cambridge. And now you can relive 2 of his masterpieces at the Lyric. If you want to spend an evening with the leading ladies and their band, they're going to be at the Beaver Studio Theatre on the 15th of November. You can join renowned singing sensations, the leading ladies and their band, for a spectacular show that offers something for everyone. And finally for now, if you want to catch a movie in cinemas this weekend and you want to keep the kids happy, why not try Paddington in Peru? And Paddington and his adopted family, the Browns, decide to visit his Aunt Lucy in Peru, but circumstances lead them towards misadventures in the Amazon rainforest and the mountains of Peru. Here's a clip.
Aunt Lucy! Paddington, we're here! Aunt Lucy!
I'm afraid she set off on some sort of quest deep in the jungle, and we have no idea where she is.
Aunt Lucy found me when I was a cub. Now I have to find her.
But the Amazon is quite large.
And I also have to tell you that singer-songwriter Brigid O'Neill is going to be appearing in the Crescent Arts Centre on the 15th of November. And here is Brigid live in the NVTV studios.
I got on my new winter coat, makeup on my face. I got some flowers to bring to brighten up the place. I got on a smile that says it's all good, you know. I act so sleek, it's like some scene from a masculine show. And it's easy, so easy to say you know it's all just fine, and all the while you're out of your mind. It's easy, so easy to say you know it's all just fine. See him in the local bars, always on his own. He says he's got more time to think when he drinks alone. It's always been a tricky path, keeping in with friends. They just don't seem to get him, and they all leave in the end. But it's easy, so easy to say you know that's just his type, when you know damn well that's just not right. It's easy, so easy to say you know, well that's just his type.
And you can catch the brilliant Brigid O'Neill at the Crescent Arts Centre on the 15th of November. Still to come, we're talking Coronation Street with Tina O'Brien right after these.
Let the good times roll at Super Strikes at the Jet Centre. You can now book your lane online. We've got 14 bowling lanes and 4 mini bowling lanes. Plus we serve delicious hot food and snacks, or enjoy a cold beverage with your food after the game. Discover bowling today at the Jet Centre. Jet Centre, Entertainment for everyone.
And welcome back to the final part of Rob and Elliott tonight. Now, according to some new research, half of parents say they dread long car journeys with their children, and 27% of parents admit avoiding car journeys altogether due to children's car sickness. To talk about this further and to talk about her life as Sarah on the cobbles of Coronation Street, I'm pleased to say actress Tina O'Brien joins us now. How are you today?
Hi, Robin. Lovely to talk to you today. Yeah, so I'm working with the Churchill because they're running a campaign to raise awareness around car sickness, and I was really glad when they approached me because I'm a parent myself, and it's something that I've dealt with many a time as my children have been growing up. And yeah, their research has been saying that nearly half of parents, they dread car journeys because of such things, to the point that 27% of parents admit they actually avoid car journeys because of car sickness with their children.
So before we talk about life on Coronation Street, we're talking about car sickness today. I know what it's like. I was one of those young children who always got car sick on long journeys. It's horrendous, but it does pass after a time.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, even myself as an adult now, I still sometimes do struggle. I've noticed I'm fine on motorways, but if I'm a passenger and we've got the little windy roads, I'm thinking, oh no, here we go. I mean, obviously, there's lots of things you can do to minimise car sickness. Apparently, some top tips are making sure you keep the window open so you've got fresh air. And then for children, apparently, it's not looking down. So I know, obviously, that kids want to be on an iPad or reading, but apparently, you're meant to keep looking ahead at the horizon. So yeah, there's a few to help. And also anxiety. Apparently, if maybe as a child, if you were thinking about the fact that you were going to feel car sick, it was almost something like you were manifesting it a little bit as well. So it's just trying to keep calm. And then as a parent, not saying, you okay? Do you feel sick yet? Have you gone green?
So what about long car journeys then? What's the worst part about having children in the car? Is it the constant, are we nearly there yet? How long is it going to take?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I know as a kid I was guilty of that. Apparently my mum said that I was just a nightmare. You know, we'd be 2 minutes down the road. Are we nearly yet? And with my daughter, I remember once she fell asleep in the car for quite a long time. And then when she woke up and we got home, she went, "Do you take a shortcut?" So that always stayed with us. And we used to say, look, why don't we take a shortcut? Close your eyes, have a little sleep.
So Tina, I've got to talk to you about life on Coronation Street, because you've played the part of Sarah for many years now. And of course, she's had many big storylines, many nightmare storylines, and lots going on at the minute, especially with Bethany and her issues. And then, of course, Sarah's got the whole family mixed up with gangsters and everything, hasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she's making some odd choices sometimes, isn't she? I mean, the Damon probably wasn't the best choice for her. You know, she had a settled, lovely, on the surface marriage, and then she's kind of thrown it all up in the air for a criminal Damon. But I think she thought that he was what she wanted, and now obviously she's all alone, and just making sure that she's just trying to keep an eye on her daughter. That's obviously, she's been going through a lot of things with heading to Turkey and ended up, with surgery that's gone wrong. So there's a lot going on.
So over the years then, do you have a favourite Sarah storyline?
I think I always go back to the classic ones. So I absolutely loved doing the pregnancy storyline, just because it was so shocking back then for everyone to go, oh, Sarah Lou, as she was then called, Sarah Lou. I still think we need to bring back Sarah Lou, not just Sarah. But anyway, but I think for just absolute classic Corrie for me, it's got to be the Richard Hillman into the canal scenes. I just loved being part of that.
Now, what about the Platt family then? You've got to be the most dysfunctional family on TV. But what's life on the set like when you're all together? Are you all having a good time?
Oh my gosh, the best. I mean, we're like a little little plat mafia. we are, you know, and it is very funny because obviously you'll be aware Helen Worth, who plays Gail, is leaving shortly. So we actually have a real plat chat as well, because on the show they sort of joke about the fact that we have plat chat, but we have our own plat chat. But it's quite funny because the dynamics of us, I've ended up being the bossy sister that's saying, right, guys, we need to organise this for Helen's leaving and we need to do this. And Jack, who plays David's like, oh, right, whatever. I'm bossy sister trying to sort it.
And how are we going to cope without Gail on the show? She's been part of your life on the show for a long time. Of course, we've been watching her for many years on Coronation Street. And losing a character like Gail, it's like losing like Ken Barlow or Rita, one of those characters.
Yeah, do you know, I think I'm a little bit in denial at the moment. Really, really, really gonna miss her. She's like the most loving, kind woman like you could ever meet. She's so giving, and like we just have such a lovely time with her. But I'm very happy that she's going for her. I mean, it's a semi-retirement and it's time for her to just kind of enjoy not having to cram all them lines and do all those hours. So yeah, I'm happy for her, but we're all sad.
And is there anything exciting coming up for Sarah in the future?
Yeah, I'm quite busy. I mean, I can't say too much, but there's a lot coming up, obviously, with Gail's exit, which we're currently filming. We're currently filming around Christmas time, New Year's, and it's very about the Platts. There's a lot of things that are happening that are quite dramatic, but at the same time, there's a lot of love and a lot of nice things going on as well. So it should be really, hopefully, good to watch.
Well, Tina, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin.
So there we go, that's all we have time for on the show this week. To play us out, let's play some more great local music. And a band who are going to be playing the Northern Ireland Music Prize at the Ulster Hall this coming Wednesday night. One of my favourite bands around at the moment. Here with their song, Snakes and Rabbits, here are the brilliant Tramp. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Something's right in front of me, it's right in front of me.